seen Loral before? No, one person. How many of you know who Loral is? Seen her on Dr. Phil, CNN, Fox. All right. So you're in for a treat. She's a great speaker. I've been following her about 5 years. I was actually a student of hers. I've used her things. She does have a breakout across the street. I was going to say across the hallway later tonight. But I think what's really good is you guys are going to get a first chance. She doesn't actually do this kind of talk very often. It's very personal, how she made it, some of the things that probably you guys have experienced if you guys want to start businesses. But it's, I mean, I think she's only done this like one other time. So you guys are in for a real treat. So with that, would you please put your hands together and bring up Loral Langemeier?
How are you? How are you?
Great.
So the name of my company is Live Out Loud, so I'm going to talk to you and you're going to talk back. You like how that's going to work? Yeah, I'm not going to talk to you. We're going to have a conversation about money. So at 8 o'clock, I'm going to really go through my 3 days to cash. How do you make money in 3 days? I've been doing a workshop for 5 years, and everybody makes money in 3 days, guaranteed. How about that? Yeah, sounds good. How many of you make money every day? Every day. Every day there's a deposit in your bank.
Yeah.
You guys are going, she's nuts. No, I'm real about it. And my question is, when are you going to get real about your businesses? Right? You've had my material for how long? And you haven't read any of it?
I'm starting the book.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay, so tell me a little bit about what you do. Do you have businesses? Are you wanting to start a business? Do you have jobs? Tell me a little bit about who's who in the little zoo here, and then we can talk a little bit.
I started my own production company at the end of last year because
Oh, what kind?
production.
Production company? Okay. Are you making any money yet?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. Who else? What do you guys do? So are you teaching?
I teach business in college.
Okay.
And I own some apartments that bring in money. But
Okay, good.
I've had network marketing in small business for years that did well, then didn't do well, then did well, then didn't.
The roller
Right now, it's
coaster.
kind of flat.
The roller coaster of cash. Anybody else? What do you guys do? What do you
I
do?
had a business and closed it.
Oh, and do you know why I wasn't making money?
I feel like I didn't have enough capital to actually do the promotion that I needed to work with business.
That's a good story. Yeah. So I'm going to talk to you again. I'm going to talk more personally about like who I am, what I do, and then at 8 we're going to really get to the whole planning mode. So you're all going to come across there, and yeah, business right across over there, and we're going to do it. So the reason, what do you guys do?
I have a personal development coaching service.
Cool.
And I'm
Oh, good. And are you making money?
not yet.
Not yet. What do you do?
I own an interior design company.
Oh, good. Are you making money yet? You are. Good. What do you guys all do? I know, I'm a little like, you know, straight out. It's called Live Out Loud. Let's go.
I work for a direct marketing company for gay people.
Oh, cool. So you're one of their reps?
I'm an independent sales associate with small business owners.
Okay, good. Who else? What do you guys do? What do you do?
Event coordinator for health conventions. We coordinate healthcare inside major corporations like aerospace. and
Good. Cool. All right.
Well, I've started a few businesses,
What are you doing today?
working in oil refinery,
Okay. Which one?
Chevron.
Yeah, I used to work that fitness center. I built that down there years ago. Out of there. That's fun. We'll get you out of there. What do you do?
I founded a 501c3 nonprofit, and it truly is nonprofit.
That's the problem,
I'd
isn't
like
it?
to turn it around so I don't have to go back to corporate America.
Okay. Anybody else want to share what they're doing?
I do IT consulting.
Oh, good.
I make lots of money and then I don't make any.
So, but you're your own business. Are you a sole proprietor?
No.
S Corp, good. Good, that's good. All right, so the reason I wanted to just kind of know so I can speak to who's who in the zoo here and just apply some of our stories and some of the learning. The reason why you really didn't make money is because you didn't have a marketing plan or a sales plan. And marketing, it doesn't require capital. It requires exactly what you're right. It requires speaking to anybody who will listen to you. It requires you to know exactly what you're selling. And then really, you women in the room, you have to ask for money. And that sounds like this. When do you want to start and how do you want to pay? It's not, go visit my website. Let's have a 30-minute free chat about stuff. And I'll give it all away for free. Right? It's really interesting to watch like a lot of the expo booths and how much they give away for free. I would challenge you to just see how many people really ask you for the business. Like really ask. Right? I mean, if you visited some of them, how many have actually said, do you want this crystal? Do you want this scarf? Do you, right? How do you want to pay? Interesting, isn't it? So what's interesting is that as I create millionaires, And I've created, we've documented 600, but we've really probably done thousands by now. And we've been doing this for 15 years, helping people make money. And it really starts with your own entrepreneurial active business and your own ability to make money, because then with that money, you can go buy assets. And right now, America's on the biggest garage sale of the history of our life. I mean, we've never seen real estate is cheap, businesses are cheap, franchises are cheap. There's just so much to buy, but most people aren't bringing in the money, all right? And then the myth, I'd call it, about capitalization is if you really had $5,000, most people wouldn't spend it for growth, right? They would just kind of randomly spend it, and all of a sudden it's gone too.
Interesting what you say, because now I've gone into consulting, and that's exactly where I'm at. Is what you just said is how much, what do you want to start and how much or how do you want to pay? I'm getting really upfront about that.
You have to.
Consulting clients, so.
You have to kind of wake up America. America's yeah, but America's very lazy. America's very entitled. I travel all over the world teaching money, and we've kind of had these little gravy days. And the only way that America is going to get out of this economic, place that we're at is all of your businesses starting to make money. Because then with money, you move money, right? But it's really about getting educated. How do you get money in the door? So I'll tell you a little bit of my whole story and how I ended up with 4 best-selling books. And I'll tell you a little bit about those too. I grew up at a farm in Nebraska in the middle of nowhere, literally. It's not even on MapQuest, a little tiny town. What? You're in Scotland. I'm on the opposite side, and on a little dirt road in the middle of nowhere. And I live in Lake Tahoe now, so I came down today, and then I'm going to go speak at another event tomorrow. And I knew when I crested that mountain from San Francisco, so I lived in San Francisco for 13 years, and before that I lived in LA and worked at the Chevron refinery, which is so funny to work there. I gotta get out of there. Don't you love that I just tell him that? He thinks I'm nuts. To stay very long. Yeah. So, and how I arrived there is in our family, everybody had to become an athlete because we had to have some sort of scholarship. I don't know if my parents thought we didn't have enough brains to have academic scholarships. But I got an academic scholarship and I got an athletic scholarship. So I went and played basketball for the University of Nebraska. My brothers played football for the University of Nebraska. And that's kind of all people do in Nebraska, right? Watch the Huskers, right? And drink beer. And walk around cornfields. I mean, so that just kind of wasn't the life that I really wanted. And I knew at 7 that was not the place I was going to stay. So the minute I graduated, I went on to college. I got a finance degree. Didn't want to sit in an office because that was kind of the way that we were raised, right? To be an occupation-driven, go-get employee, which I love that you're teaching at colleges. And we're actually designing a curriculum right now for the University of Reno. Just it's right down the hill. And so once we get that, if you're interested in that, make sure you see Rebecca. The only way we're going to change this is we've got to get to the kids. Right? The next generation has got to be raised differently. In fact, all of the programs we do, you parents, if you have a teenage kid between 13 and 19, we let your kids come for free to all of our programs because, so if that's your mom, you can kick her, she can adopt you for today.
And what do you do when the kids make more money than you?
They do. They do. Because you have to unlearn the chaos that you have. So it's great. And what the kids will do when you go home then is remind you of all your bad habits. They're your greatest accountability. They'll say, right, Mom, Laurel said not to do that anymore. And they're getting really sick of me in your household. So they'll shift. Right? Because they'll say, you're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to do that. Why are you still doing that? Your kids are the greatest accountability to the message we teach. It's awesome. So anyway, so I skipped my whole finance thing and I went on to get a master's degree in exercise physiology, and I took these weird kind of combined degrees and I started building fitness centers for blue-collar environments, and I would analyze what it costs to have unhealthy employees. So when I was 24, Chevron called me and said, will you go to New Orleans and build fitness centers on offshore oil rigs? And I couldn't understand the guy. Because he kept saying, will you go work on an oil rig? I said, oil? What's oil? I couldn't even understand him. It was like, this whole Cajun dialect. And he said, well, we're just going to fly you to New Orleans. I was 24, single. I thought, I'm just going to go party. I don't know what this interview is about because I don't even understand what I'm supposed to be doing. But I'm just going to New Orleans. Well, that didn't happen because they met me at the did you see they just found some pictures? I fly with a helicopter. So if you just look on Facebook, just like in the last week, we found a bunch of those old pictures because I think a lot of people think that I'm kidding. So you'll see me at 24 flying out in a helicopter at offshore oil rig. But But so those of you taking some notes, I want you, this was really the most pivotal time of my life, and I want you to really start thinking about where are you not playing the biggest game, right? I mean, we're at a Conscious Life Expo, right? You guys are probably very spiritually aware. Spirituality is my highest value. Integrity is right behind it. Creativity is right behind that. Health, right? Are you really truly living where you need to be living? Or are you compromising? You know what I mean? Like, where are you compromising, not getting any time for yourself? Because it isn't about the money, right? It's not about the money. It's about what you get to do with it. It's a tool to have a bigger life. And really well used. Because I think a lot of people do have this myth that wealthy people are bad people. I said, that's a choice you make with what you're going to do with that money, right? Because the wealthiest people that I know that they really provide the most service, right? Look at the Gates and now Buffett foundations are just giving millions and millions of dollars to, re-educate America. So it's really about the bigger game. And running a nonprofit, my advice to you is run a profit first and then fund the nonprofit. You'll have better tax advantages. The whole wealth plan gets bigger. Like, I just started the Loral Langemeier Foundation, which is financial literacy for kids. But I fund it from Live Out Loud, right? So I self-fund it. So I make it a profitable venture. A lot of people go into nonprofit because you want to give, but it's truly nonprofit. Right. And if you really want to run a nonprofit, run it like a profit, which means you've got to get over to the profit side and really run a company. You'll be more successful in that way, and lifetime you'll have more money. Right? So switch it up, put that on the back burner, and get some money in the door. Right? You'll feel better too. I mean, seriously, can you imagine putting money in your pocket every day?
Yes.
I mean, seriously, like what? Your whole life, even if it's 20 bucks, even if it's 50 bucks. You're like 50 bucks a day is $250 a week. That's an extra $1,000 a month.
Well, with the right investments, you are actually putting money in your.
Yeah, but I'm talking active cash. What are you doing every day?
Yeah.
In addition to investing, what are you doing every day generating? Okay, I'll say about that in a second. So I want you to write this down because when I flew back in, so they met me at the airport, and I never really got to go hang out on Bourbon Street like I wanted to. Because they gave me steel-toe shoes and those sexy blue jumpsuits and those little hard hats and glasses. And so we flew offshore, and while I was out, they offered me this contract. It was a multi-million-dollar contract at 24 to build fitness centers on offshore oil rigs, is what I called them, not oil rigs. Yeah, those little lovely safety goggles right there. I got lots of them, by the way.
Yeah.
And so the thing that really is the mindset that I want you to leave with is say yes and figure out how. Right, most of you aren't saying yes in your life. You're trying to figure out how. And then you're committed. It doesn't work like that. You have to be committed. What do you really, really want? You got to say yes first, commit, and then you'll figure out how. And it's really, if you want to change the words, it's really not about how, it's who knows how. Because half of the things you're trying to do as an entrepreneur, you're no good at. And the faster you realize that you're no good at trying to build your own website, do your own social media, do your own bookkeeping, right? And then if you're spending any money on bookkeepers, but you don't have any marketing and sales, stop spending money on the bookkeeper. There's no money to count, right? I mean, right? I mean, there's so many bad business education classes that we're, just horribly taught on how to make money, and it's very archaic in the way that we're taught how to make money. And coming out of what I call the R&D and recession depression, right? The rules, you like that? I just made that up a couple weeks ago. It's very different how we're going to make money moving ahead. And there's 17 million Americans standing in unemployment lines. They're not going to get jobs. They have to become entrepreneurs. I think part of what the R&D really did, it forced the industrial age to die. Right? America can no longer sit around and think they're going to have a 30-year job. It's not available anymore. And then, so there's just a lot of people who are just shocked, which is why you have to be that bold and say, hello, what are you going to pay? Let's go, give me your credit card. Because they're so asleep, right? And they're cynical and not awake at all. And so knowing that you have to deal with that in the marketplace is just not what I do, it's what you need to be doing. And if you think that you've been aggressive about marketing and sales, like especially as a coach, I mean, put 100% spin on it and you'll start making some money. It's that much. I mean, America, just think about it, right? It'll be interesting to see how many people walk around here and world conscious they are, right? Today most of them are pretty shut down, right? And pretty tucked in because it's been a rough couple of years, right? And really the rough couple of years is what we've been through is going to make the 1933 Great Depression look like a kindergarten game. It's that bad, what we've been living through. And we're coming out of it. But we've got to band together as entrepreneurs and come out of it, because we're the ones that are going to hire back Marion, right?